So if you want to know how to make crazy beats and samples for Gunna from scratch, this is the perfect video for you. Yo guys, what's up and welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how Metro Boom makes crazy beats and samples from scratch in the style of Gunna. So first of all, as always, I'm going to show you all the sample. Then after that, I will break it down and show you how I mix it and show you every individual pattern. Then after that, I will show you my mastering chain and how I process the sample after rendering it out. And then for the last step, I will show you how I made a beat to it. And the sample has 3 parts and the preview was only 1. So y'all stay tuned for that. Please make sure to leave a like and to subscribe to my channel, because 60% of y'all that are watching this video right now aren't subscribed. So please take a second and do that. And while you're at it, please make sure to leave a like and please make sure to check out my kits. The links for that is in the description, and in the comments you will find a 20% discount code, so don't miss out on that. And with that being said, yeah guys, let's go. So I started off with Analog Lab and I just searched for like a Rhodes preset. I wanted to go in like more of a melodic way, but then I found this preset which is called Grano Rhodes, I think that's how you pronounce it, and it was perfect for these type of samples because it was bouncy already and it had like a cool bell vibe to it. So I just used that, and as you can see I laid down these simple chords which are just 4 chords, and I left them pretty long just that I can render it out afterwards. But first of all, these chords are sounding like this. And then I just rendered it out without any effects. And as you can see right here, I just chopped it up, put the mode on stretch, lowered the volume by a bit, put the declicker mode on generic so it doesn't have all of these click sounds. So this would have been the main chord, but I changed it up. So I basically just took this and deleted it, and I did the same thing with all the other chords. So it has like a bouncy and rhythmic pattern. And then after chopping it up, it sounds like this. And for the effects, it's pretty simple. I just had the simple soothe on its hard setting and the knob to 3.0. And I had this simple EQ just to cut out some of the lows because they weren't really necessary for the sample and I wanted to leave some space for the bass. Then for the next thing I had Serum and I used the Trooper bells. I have this preset from Splice and I laid down this pretty simple pattern. It's basically the chords you heard at first, but then I just added this E root note right here just for the bass line to sound better. And I randomized the velocities as you can see, which you can do with Alt and R. Then I strummed it, which you can do with Alt and S. And that's basically it. It's really simple and it sounds like this. And as you can see, for the effects, I just have the simple EQ where I just cut out some of the lows again just to leave some space for the bass line, and I pan it 31% to the left. Then for the next thing I use Serum again, and I used the cryptic lead from the Cyber Serum bank. And as you can see, I laid down a pretty repetitive pattern. It's very repetitive and it's basically just those triplets and then the third note plays through and then just the same thing over again for every bar. And what I did, and I will show you all the effects first, was having this portal on it with the deep state preset and the mix to full, because I just thought it sounded nice and it gives the lead like a little bit of variation. And as you can see, I have the slow cut as well, just for the same reason that I had it on the other 2 instruments. And then I just rendered the lead out as you can see right here, just that it sounds the same all the time. And that's basically all I did for the lead, and it sounds like this. Then for the next thing I had like this bell tree from El Hux kit, and what I basically did was lowering the volume, putting the declicker mode to generic and the mode to stretch, and it's just something to have like in the background for some texture and to make it sound a little bit more full. So it's nothing really special, but it adds a lot of texture to the sample and it sounds like this. And all I had on there was the slow cut, and I panned it 31% to the left. Then for the next thing I got the Cymatics Gothic vocal loop, which was in G sharp minor, so I pitched it down by 4 just to bring it into the key. I put the declick mode to generic, the mode to stretch, and as you can see in the last bit, I just time stretched it because it wasn't in time, and I just brought it into time basically. And that's all I did for this vocal loop. It was already finished and it sounds like this. Then for the effects on this vocal, I had this for the reverb too. With the default settings, I just played with the decay and the stereo separation. Then this simple soothe on its default settings. Then this simple EQ where I just cut out a lot of the lows and a lot of the mids and some of the highs just to duck it more to the background. And I had it 12% in stereo. Then for the next thing, I got the Cymatics Holy Spirit vocal loop, and it was in C sharp minor, so I pitched it up by 3 just to bring it into the key. I had the mode on stretch, and that's all I did, and it sounds like this. And I had the same effects on there than on the other vocal, so I don't have to show it to y'all. Then for the next thing, I got my 545 percussion loop, which is made by me, and it's out of my newest kit, which is called Goldmine. The link for that is in my description. And as I said, the 20% discount code is in the comments, so y'all make sure to check that out. And what I did was putting the mode to stretch, the declicking mode to generic, and I lowered the volume, and it sounds like this. And as you can see, I don't have any effects on there. All these perk loops are ready to be drag and drop. So it's basically a must-have for y'all, so y'all make sure to check that out. Then for the next thing, I have this bass, which is named Sauce, and I think it's out of the artillery bank. And I just laid down this pretty simple bass line, which are basically just the root notes from the first pattern. And I didn't really add anything else. And the finished bass line is sounding like this. And for the effects on this bassline, I have this soothe on the hard setting and the knob to 9.1. Then this R compressor from Waves, where I have the threshold to -16.3 and the ratio to 1.64. Then this decapitator, where I played with the drive, the tone and the style. Then this for the fast distortion on its default settings, I just turned the mix to 35%. Then this EQ, where I just cut out some of the muddy lows, and I added 100% in mono. Then for the effects on my mastering chain, as always, I have this A1 stereo control from Alex Hilton with these settings. This R compressor, which does nothing for this sample. This Abbey Road vinyl stereo with the vintage master preset, which I made myself. Y'all can just copy them settings. Then this sound shifter pitch stereo from Waves, where I pitched it down by 4. This chroma tape with the mastering big and open preset. This L1 limiter from Waves, which I basically just have on there to make it louder. Then this soothe on its default settings, I just turned the knob from soft to hard. And then this EQ, which is just on there in case I want to EQ something, but for this sample I didn't. Then after rendering the sample out, I have the declicker mode to generic, put the mode to stretch, and have it on a night mixer track. And then on this mixer track, there's just a simple soothe where I have it on a soft setting and adapt to 1.7, and this simple EQ where I just lower some of the bass volumes because it was basically just too loud and I didn't want to render out the sample again. And that's basically it for the sample, and now we're gonna make a beat with it, and the second part of the finished sample is sounding like this. So now for the beat breakdown, I obviously first dragged in the sample, put the declick mode to generic, the mode to stretch, and that's basically it. And then for the second thing, which is a pretty basic thing, is this two-step hide pattern, which is just, as I said, just a normal two-step hide pattern. It's nothing crazy, nothing special, but you don't need to have a crazy hide pattern all the time for every beat. And two-step hide pattern works, which a lot of songs, which many popular songs will teach you, that you don't need to have like crazy hi-hats. Just like a two-step hide pattern is more than enough for some of these beats. And the hide pattern obviously sounds like this.
You like a hi-hat god, kinda.
Then for the next thing, I got the second snare clap out of my stash 2023, which will drop very soon. And it's again just a default clap pattern, which sounds like this. Then for the next thing, we got this Jacob snare, which is out of my stash kit as well, which is already in the stash volume 3, so y'all make sure to get that. The link for that is in the description, as I said. And what I did, I have this basic snare pattern, I would say, but then just added a roll right here and removed one note right there, just that it has some variation. And the finished snare pattern is sounding like this. Then after that, I laid down this pretty simple open-hat pattern, which as you can see just sits on a 1, 3, 5 and 7, and it sounds like this. And then for the last and most important part, I have this Spins 808 where I laid down a pretty complex pattern as you can see, but that's why I laid down the 2-step hi-hat pattern, the basic clap pattern, and the simple snare pattern, and the simple open hat pattern. So that's why I have this very complex 808 pattern. And as you can see, I just laid down these 808 notes on the root notes, or like on the bassline notes from the bass, from the sample. And I have a roll right here, then something a bit more complex right here, and I have a roll right there and right there, and the finished beat with the 808 pattern, and everything else is sounding like this. So yeah guys, if y'all enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to leave a comment on what y'all want to see next as well. So basically just future video ideas. And if you want to get some kits from me, make sure to check out the link in the description. And obviously please make sure to check out my socials as well. My Instagram, my Twitter, and everything else. And thank y'all for this crazy support on the last videos, as I say all the time, because y'all been going crazy. And yeah guys, see y'all.